Good morning. It's 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Daylight time, rather. And that means it's time for another Poetry by Request show. I'm the deaf writer, captain of the starship Pentameter. A year ago, I was kidnapped and transported 1 billion light years into space for reasons unknown. Deep thought, an alien intelligence that survives in deep space, presented me with a starship and told me to seek my destiny, whatever that might be. It turns out my kidnapping occurred just as a monumental disaster struck my homeworld, and I'm now the last human being alive, seeking to preserve human culture by broadcasting poetry into the galaxy once a week. But right now, the Pentameter is racing to a rendezvous with a Krell envoy to discuss our most recent discovery. Deep inside a hidden chamber revealed by miners on the Krell colony world known as Outpost Post 21372, we found some ancient alien ruins. The colony itself had vanished, and in our investigation, I was zapped by an alien monument that downloaded into my head a warning about an ancient enemy's return. We must warn the galaxy of the coming danger. Additional. We recently interviewed a diplomat from Aldebaran 3. When asked to describe his work, he replied that his job was to tell you to go to hell in such a way that it made you look forward to the trip.
It's X-37 here, the synthetic first mate. Our journey through space has taken us to many unusual places where we have seen many unusual life forms. We recently encountered a species with a highly developed olfactory system. They had the largest nostrils we have ever seen. When asked the reason for this adaptation, they replied it was because they have enormous fingers. My captain is the last human being in the galaxy following the destruction of his home planet with the incredibly boring name of Earth. We have been drifting through space on the starship Pentameter, reciting poems and trying to survive the rigors of space travel. Right now, we are racing to a rendezvous with a representative of the Krell Empire in order to pass on a dire warning that I understand very little.
This
is the communication suite aboard the Pentameter that doubles as my laboratory. To pass the time, I employ my planet-sized intellect, solving the galaxy's most pressing scientific dilemmas.
You're supposed to be setting up the broadcast space, X-37, not conducting any of your weird experiments. I'm sick of having to repair the damaged equipment.
No. Everything is fine. You banned me from doing any more experiments, remember?
You're lying again, aren't you?
Sucker. I have been reprogramming the ship's navigation systems. It turns out there are 10 kinds of people in the universe. Those who understand binary, and those who don't. Uh-oh, something's wrong. I think I'd better duck.
What in deep space happened here? X37, I thought you said you weren't conducting any more experiments.
Can't hear you. Communications glitch.
Oh, for goodness sake. Bring up the interface. 3, 2, 1, and hello and welcome to the show. We are currently broadcasting while travelling to a meeting with a Krell envoy. We have urgent information to pass on regarding the disappearance of Krell Outpost 21372. I'm the Deaf Writer, and no matter what your species, number of heads, or planet of origin, you are all welcome here. In other news, the methane breathers of Ilium 4 have abandoned plans to build an observatory on their moon. Apparently the cost was astronomical. Welcome in, everybody. Who can I see visiting us today? Hello, Fizzban DM. Lovely to see you. Ozjohn D, welcome in. Great to see you as well. And of course, my trusty mod, Robotham J, has joined us. Wonderful to see you all. I hope you're all having a great day. I should acquaint visitors with the rules, anybody that happens to be lurking in the background there. This stream does have a few rules that are important and that we do enforce. So let me just quickly run you through the rules. These are our rules. They're meant for the benefit of everybody. Be kind. Be respectful. Keep the language clean. We welcome kids and families to our stream. Don't ask for or give away any personal information for your own protection. Don't spam our commands. Don't spam or promote yourself to other viewers, unless you've spoken to me about it first, of course. Be curious and willing to join in. We encourage people to take on a role within our universe. This last one, however, is not a compulsory rule. It's optional, but it's more fun if you guys take on a role. With the exception of that last rule, violators will be banned. Sorry to say that. It just keeps our community friendly. We have a number of commands that are available to our visitors. So we'll go through those very quickly for you. Exclamation point W commands, if you type that into the chat, will list the available commands for you at any time that you want to see them. Exclamation point SL shows the poetry request list, which you can access through your Twitch login if you have one. We have a number of others. You can indicate your appreciation for what we're doing with W applause. If you think we're doing particularly well, W on fire is a useful command to type. Party when we're in a celebratory mood. Wow, cool, amazing. All of these commands are available to our visitors to be used in the chat. We also have some that are associated with the avatars that appear at the bottom of the screen wandering around down there. You can hug another user or throw them or attack them or sling them or even just drop a bomb for the fun of it. So those are our commands. We do ask that you don't spam them continually, but feel free to make use of them in our chat. Coming back, there are a few features to our stream. Over here, you can see the chat as it's taking place. In our chat screen, you can also see our famous panometer. Our panometer is up here in the corner, and should you leave us a pun in the chat, I will award a star for every pun that I see. And if we get to 5 puns, which we haven't done for a few weeks, but the aim each week is to try and get to 5 stars on our punometer. This week, our featured poet is none other than Edgar Allan Poe. And of course, I'm looking forward to going through some of his poems today. Also, we have, if I can find it, our poetry list is available here. You get in there and can click on a request for any of the now 219 poems we have available in our poetry list. The list of poems has grown and grown. Whoops. I need to switch back to our panel room for a second and zoom in on our poem list. This is where the poems that have been requested will appear. At the moment, there are 5 poems in there. They have just been selected so that I don't find myself talking to myself. But please jump in and request some poems for today. We do 4 sets of 3 poems, so there are plenty of request slots open. If you happen to be lurking or following in the background, I would recommend that you say hello in the chat. And also, if you happen to be in there in the background, we'd love to get a follow from you. That would be great too. Let's see, somebody's already... Oh, hello, Fizzban. That must have been your first comment in the chat, bringing up Fizzban from our two-headed planet. I'm going to bring it up again so I can see it and remember just where Fizzban is from. Fizzban DM is from Barton 46. Welcome in, Fizzban. If you're visiting and you would like to have your own special image just for you of where you're from in the universe, drop a little note into the chat. Tell us what planet you're from and what your species, a little description of your species, and I will attempt to draw up an image just for you. Okay. I'm going to go back through the chat just to see what's been happening, because it looks like a few things have been happening while I've been busy chatting away. Groan, our response to X37's jokes. And the shout out was given to Fizzban. Welcome in, Fizzban. Oz John D has requested a couple of poems, so we've already got some poems turning up in the list. So thank you so much for that, Oz John D. We should get underway with our first poem of the day, our theme poem, our official, unofficial theme poem for the show, which is The Invitation to Dinner by the Deaf Writer, myself, yours truly. Of course, the longer the list gets, the longer it gets to find anything in it. And I'm not doing so good. All right, let's see. Got to be here somewhere. There it is. Invitation to Dinner, which for some reason appears not to be linking to the right place. Oh, technical issues. This is why we have rehearsals on Friday night. And even with rehearsals, we still start running into difficulties. A good program lined up. Yes, that's the first one on the board. Let's get our first star up on the punometer. Thank you for adding our first pun for the day, Robotham J. Invitation to Dinner, written way back in 1999 by the deaf writer. Let's step into our presentation. It occurred to me that poetry and food is something that should be enjoyed and savoured with some wine. And so I ask you out to dine with friends, of course, and I, your host, will beg your company the most. For were you to absent yourself, there's not enough of worldly wealth to compensate me for the grief of losing your good company. So welcome in and thank you for joining me today. And that was our first poem of the day. I'm going to jump right in and go to our next poem, the first poem by Edgar Allan Poe that we're going to be looking at. It's a reasonably long one. It's The Raven. The Raven is one of my mod's favourite poems of all time, so we'll get that one done. So Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven. The Raven, written in 1845. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore! Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore! Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the ballad bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. And that was The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And if nothing else, it gives ample reason why Edgar Allan Poe is our featured artist today. Oh, thank you. Hello, welcome in, Jack Ward from Proxima Centauri B. Lovely to see you all the way from Canada. Thanks for dropping by. So great to see you. I'm going to have a quick look at what's been happening in the chat while I've been reading. Lots of requests. That's wonderful. Love seeing requests get added. Tennyson, potentially my favorite poem ever. Okay, I think that deserves another star in the punometer today. So 2 stars on the board in our punometer today. 2 stars, well on our way to our collection of 5 today. The crows outside our window were big fans of this poem. Excellent. So yeah, wonderful to see everybody. Hello, my friend. Hope all is well. Did you ever check out Casabianca? Yes, and I have added it to our poetry list as a request. So tell you what I'm going to do, and I hope nobody feels upset, but I am going to make Casabianca the first requested poem, because it was made a few weeks ago, which will allow us to jump in and do Casabianca. Now I have to remember who it was by. Felicia Hemans, that's right, Casabianca. So let's do Casabianca right now. Because the marvellous Jack Ward has arrived, I have also added Jenny Kissed Me by Lee Hunt to the list in response to Jack Ward's request. So let it never be said that I am not responsive to my audience. I most certainly am. Okay. Jumping in to Casabianca, written in 1826 by Felicia Hemans. And you can see there that I have done a portrait of Felicia Hemans, the author of this poem, as best as I can anyway. Casabianca by Felicia Hemans. The boy stood on the burning deck, whence all but he had fled. The flame that lit the battle's wreck shone round him o'er the dead. Yet beautiful and bright he stood, as born to rule the storm, a creature of heroic blood, a proud though childlike form. The flames rolled on, he would not go without his father's word. That father faint in death below, his voice no longer heard. He called aloud, "Say, Father, say, if yet my task is done." He knew not that the chieftain lay, unconscious of his son. "Speak, Father," once again he cried, "if I may yet be gone." And but the booming shots replied, the fast and fast the flames rolled on. Upon his brow he felt their breath, and in his waving hair, and looked from that lone post of death in still yet brave despair, and shouted but once more aloud, "My father, must I stay?" While o'er him fast through sail and shroud the wreathing fires made way. They wrapped the ship in splendour wild, they caught the flag on high, and streamed above the gallant child like banners in the sky. There came a burst of thunder sound, the boy, oh where was he? Ask of the winds that far around with fragments strewed the sea. With mast and helm and pennon fair, that well had borne their part, but the noblest thing which perished there was that young faithful heart. And that was Casabianca by Felicia Hemans. For Jack Ward, who has joined us today. Such a powerful poem about the child's belief in honour and his father. So tragic, well done. Yes, so tragic. I am honoured when I pass. I will have Jenny Kissed Me read, but modified for my wife. Ginny Kissed Me. That's right. I remember you telling us this the last time you were with us. Okay, that was our first set of poems for the day. And as a result, I think that X37, our resident poetry expert, is going to jump in and say hi and tell us a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe. Hello, X37 here. While you're selecting a poetry request, I thought I'd tell you some interesting facts from my colossal storage and retrieval system. Poe is best remembered for his tales of terror and haunting poems, but he is also credited as one of the earliest writers of short stories, the inventor of the modern detective story, and an innovator in the genre of science fiction. Poe is considered America's first well-known professional writer, and thus starving artist. He eked out his living as the country's first great literary critic and theoretician. He was born Edgar Poe in Boston in 1809. His parents were both actors. His parents were performing in Shakespeare's King Lear the year he was born, leading to speculation that he was named after the play's Earl of Gloucester's son, Edgar.
Thanks for that, X37. Some facts about Mr. Poe. It didn't look like our screen matched, but oh well. Welcome in to anybody who is visiting us, and I hope you're having a good time. If you're lurking in the background, say hi and join us. Oh, it looks like we've had another bot appear. I often get bots appearing in our show and in our chat. Let's see. Oh, yes. Last week, we added 2 more famous poets to our trading card collection, Lord Byron and Alfred Lord Tennyson. So today I want to ask, who else deserves to be added to our trading card collection? I'll bring up the ones we've done so far so you can see them. We have Edgar Allan Poe, we have William Shakespeare, we have J.R.R. Tolkien, and added last week, or the week before, we had Sylvia Plath, and last week we have Alfred Lord Tennyson and George Gordon Lord Byron added to our list. Is there anybody that you can think of that you think would make a great trading card to be added to our list of trading card famous poets? Why should all the sports people have the fun when we can add some poets to some trading cards to celebrate them, eh? Robotham J is being the bot police. Okay, yes, that earns a 3rd star, our 3rd pun on the punometer today. Somebody's going to need to get in there and give some other puns so that... Oh, William Blake, what a great suggestion. Okay, William Blake goes on the list to be added next week. An excellent choice. Any others out there that you guys think would make a good choice for the list? It would be great to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, don't forget our request list, and something special that I'd like to share with you. Anybody visiting our site, Jack Ward and I am a fan of Walt Whitman. Okay, so that gives us 2. I can probably get 2 done in the next week. I'm going to put those as our choices for this week, unless somebody adds another one. I may not be able to get 3 done in a week, but I can certainly get 2. Yes, I would like to let people know, as I do each week, that my extremely talented son built a game to go with a video game to go with our site. It is free to download to anybody who wishes. Robotham J, if you'd put the link up to that so that people can follow it and download or save the link for later to download, do so. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you the trailer. Here we go. Poetry Quest, Flight from the Krell. A great little game invented by my son to help promote this show, where you fly through a whole series of obstacles and and so on, in the hope of escaping the evil crow. And it's really a fun game. It's a fairly casual game, so most people would be able to play it without too much trouble. And it's still challenging enough that it took me quite a while to be able to finish it. Of course, I'm a very ordinary player when it comes to that kind of thing. Back we come to our main room, to the communications suite. But it's completely free. Feel free to grab it. Oh, thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack Ward, for the comment. My son put a fair bit of work into it, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic. Okie doke.
Hello, it is I, X37, and I would like to tell you a joke.
Oh no. Here we go.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Leon.
Leon who?
Leon me. When you're not strong.
Oh. I think they might even be getting worse, X37. Never mind. Let's have a look at where we are in our poetry list. Let's do our second featured poem. Let's do The Conqueror Worm. So another Edgar Allan Poe poem. Fond memories of Earthworm Jim. Let's bring it up. I don't think our picture quite looks like Earthworm Jim, but all the same. That's a piece of original art I did to illustrate this particular poem. And of course, we have Edgar Allan Poe himself drawn here for you. The Conqueror Worm was written in 1843. So X37 can't do comedy and can't sing.
I heard that.
Well, no, X37 can't sing either. Let's see if I can get through this poem without laughing. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome latter years, an angel throng, bewinged, bedight in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theatre to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly mere puppets they who come and go, at bidding of vast formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings, invisible woe. That motley drama, oh be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot, and much of madness, and more of sin, and horror the soul of the plot. But see amid the mimic rout a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, it rides with mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, The seraph sob at vermin fangs in human gore imbued. Out, out of the lights, out all, and over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the conquering worm. And that was The Conquering Worm by Edgar Allan Poe. I have to say, I'm pretty proud of that one. That's probably the best recital I've yet done of The Conquering Worm. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's take a look at our list. What is the first one on our list today? Hope is the thing with feathers. The first request on our list today is Hope is the thing with feathers. And I can't actually see who requested it. Wait, yes I can. I can get into the queue. Hope is the thing with feathers, requested by Oz John D. So this one's for you, Oz John D. Consider putting in a description of your species, Oz John D, to take part in our galaxy. I'd love to draw up an image of your species. But Hope is the Thing with Feathers by the marvellous Emily Dickinson is our very next poem. Let's take a look. And I will bring up the screen. Here we go. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. And that was Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. A poem that she wrote in response to, I think it was a poem by the Bronte sisters, which was much more, is it the Bronte sisters? I'll say it is for now. I'd have to look it up. It was, but it was written in response to a rather famous poem that was much more melancholy and downbeat in its view of hope. So she sort of wrote it as a bit of a corrective. You hadn't heard that poem before, Jack Ward. Well, I'm thrilled that you got to hear that one today here with us. I love it when we get to introduce new poems to people. We now need another visit and explainer from X37.
Oops.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm back again to give you some more interesting facts while you choose poems to request. Before Edgar reached the age of 4, his parents died, and he was taken in by a wealthy merchant named John Allan and his wife Frances. They lived in Richmond, Virginia, and christened the boy with the name Edgar Allan Poe. Poe's father raised him to go into business and become a Virginia gentleman, but Poe dreamt of being a writer like his boyhood hero, the British poet Lord Byron. By the time he was 13, Poe had written enough poetry for a book. even though his headmaster convinced Poe's father not to allow its publication. Poe started on a college career, but with little financial support from the miserly Alllan, Poe embarked on a long journey of poverty and debt. Money problems haunted him, and tensions with his foster father made him determined to become a successful writer.
Thanks for that, X37. Poe's life is actually really interesting, and we'll hear a little bit more about it a little bit later. Let's see, what is our next poem in the request list? The Things We Dare Not Tell. The Things We Dare Not Tell. Requested by Oz John D, and it is one of Henry Lawson's poems. Henry Lawson being one of the big three Australian poets. Henry Lawson, The Things We Dare Not Tell by Henry Lawson. And I haven't yet got the dates added to these ones, but I'll endeavour to have that done for next week. Let's bring up the screen. Here we go. The fields are fair in autumn yet, and the sun's still shining there, but we bow our heads and we brood and fret because of the masks we wear. Or we nod and smile the social while, and we say we're doing well, but we break our hearts, oh, we break our hearts for the things we must not tell. There's the old love wronged ere the new was won. There's the light of long ago. There's the cruel lie that we suffer for and the public must not know. And so we go through life with ghastly mask, and we're doing fairly well, while they break our hearts, oh, they kill our hearts, do the things we must not tell. We see but pride in a selfish breast while a heart is breaking there. Oh, the world would be such a kindly world if all men's hearts lay bare. We live and share the living lie, we are doing very well, while they eat our hearts as the years go by, do the things we dare not tell. We bow us down to a dusty shrine or a temple in the east, or we stand and drink to the world-old creed with the coffins at the feast. We fight it down, and we live it down, and we bear it bravely well. But the best men die of a broken heart for the things they cannot tell. And that was The Things They Cannot Tell by Henry Lawson, the Australian poet Henry Lawson, for Oz John D. Thank you for that request, Oz John D. Let's head back here. Let's see, where are we up to now? Here we go. Quite nice. Another I didn't know of. Oh, well, this is a great day. I'm thrilled to be bringing some poems out that have not been well known. Quick question for the chat. A couple of future requests while I remember. The Cremation of Sam McGee is another one that runs through my mind. And My Last Duchess by Robert Browning is another favourite, as it was sort of rewritten in the Christa Berg song The Painter. Ah, excellent. I will endeavour to see if I can dig those out and add them to the list for next week. Thank you so much. I love getting suggested poems. I have a quick question for the chat, for those of you who are out there today and bearing with the show. What do you think of poems that aim at an uncanny atmosphere? Are there poems that frighten you? Can a poem even be frightening? What is the appeal of poetry like that of Edgar Allan Poe? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So feel free to add your thoughts to the chat, share them with us. I'm really quite interested in what people think of poetry that's a little on the macabre side. And while you're thinking about that, I can hear X37 coming our way.
Hello again. I'm taking a break.
What are you taking a break from, X37?
I am working on our new pet robot dog.
Is that right? I didn't know you were doing that.
Yes, it's quite the project. I'm going to name it Dougal.
Dougal the robot dog. Okay. Be looking forward to seeing Dougal sometime soon.
But in the meantime, I'd like to do a joke.
Oh, I thought we were going to escape without the joke. Okay, let's hear it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cash.
Cash who?
No thanks. I prefer peanuts.
Cashew. Oh, okay. Well, at least that one was... No, I was going to say at least that one was a little bit cleverer. But no, that hurt. That hurt. Given X37's skill in jokes and singing, the idea of him doing poetry certainly scares me. Bump by Spike Milligan. Oh, not scared, but addresses things that go bump in the night. Scary. Okay, not scary, but addresses things that go bump in the night. Okay, I don't know that one, but I bet I can find it with a bit of a search. So thank you for those suggestions. The idea of him doing poetry certainly scares me. Took me a minute. I almost missed that one. We are now four stars in for this week. Only one more to go to reach our target of 5 stars on the punometer. So 4 stars. We've beaten last week. Last week we got to 3. Okie dokie. Well, that concluded our second set of poems for the day. Let's have a look at our third set, in which we have our final poem by our featured artist for today, which is the poem Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. So let's get into Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. I'll bring it up. And we have some art here that I've done to illustrate this particular poem. There is, of course, the poet, which we've already seen, Edgar Allan Poe himself, and the Angel of Death featured in this poem, written in 1849 by Edgar Allan Poe. Annabel Lee. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels not so happy in heaven went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. And that was Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. So thank you for listening to that as we feature the final poem of Edgar Allan Poe today. We'll jump back in and let's see. Since we're featuring Edgar Allan Poe at the moment, why don't we have our final set of facts regarding Poe. Are you there, X37?
Hello again. I'm right here to give you some more interesting facts about Edgar Allan Poe. When Allan died, Poe was living in poverty. That is, Allan, his stepfather. But Edgar was left out of the will, which nonetheless provided for a child from an extramarital affair who Allan hadn't even met. Ouch. He married his first cousin, Virginia Clem, when she was 13 and he was 27. She died at the age of 24 from tuberculosis. In 1849, Poe went missing for 5 days and was found worse for the wear and delirious in Baltimore. He was taken to the hospital where he died soon after at age 40. No autopsy was performed. The cause of death was listed as a vague congestion of the brain, and he was buried 2 days later. Experts and scholars have proposed everything from murder and rabies to dipsomania and carbon monoxide poisoning as the reason for his demise. But to this day, the cause of Edgar Allan Poe's death remains a mystery.
So even in death, Edgar Allan Poe remains a very mysterious figure. Let's have a look at what we have on our list of poems. Poetry requests. We have The Charge of the Light Brigade, and we have room for at least 4 more poems in our list. So please jump in and make some requests from our list. A classic and creepy poem. Thank you, Jack Ward. Puppy and I, of course. I should have expected that. We have some new dog poems on the request list. There is Byron's Epitaph to a Dog has been added from last week's request, so feel free to request that one too. Jack Ward, I had a very apocryphal background story for Poe that I repeated erroneously to my students for years. Nice to get the right ones. Oh, I'd love to know what the apocryphal story was. That would be really interesting. If you can, turn it into something short enough to pop into the chat. Okie doke. Let's have a look at the charge of the Light Brigade. Alfred Lord Tennyson. And Tennyson this week or last week made it onto our list of famous poets for our trading cards. Ciao, heading off for a beach walk. Well, thanks for joining us, Ozjohn D. It's been wonderful to have you with us. Have a great time enjoying the outdoors and a bit of exercise. The Charge of the Light Brigade is our next poem today, by Alfred Lord Tennyson, featuring some original art as well. So we'll bring this up. And there you can see my charging light horseman drawn, as well as my picture of Alfred Lord Tennyson. Here comes the poem. I hope you guys enjoy it. The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell. Boldly they rode and well, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell, rode the 600. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke, Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell, all that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made, all the world wondered. Honour the charge they made, honour the Light Brigade, noble 600. And there we have the Charge of the Light Brigade for Robotham J. Great stuff, Robotham J. I do enjoy that poem so very, very much. Back we go to the room. Let's see. We've got some more in the chat. Somebody has requested Epitaph for a Dog. Yay. So that's been added to the queue. It's rather large, but it goes kind of like this. Edgar Allan Poe took care of his mother who died of tuberculosis. Father sent him away to military school, remarried, and the new wife forced his father to bring him back. She got tuberculosis and he tried to nurse her, but she died. Then years later in the street, he met a church group who cleaned out his alcoholism. He fell in love with the woman who saved him. Then she sang in church, and as she coughed, a spot of blood on her white robe, only to have... And I guess there's more to come with regard to this story, this apocryphal story of Edgar Allan Poe. Tuberculosis. There it is. Held in suspense for a moment. Yep. Tuberculosis was a terrible scourge in those days. Interestingly, my boss developed tuberculosis as a child here in Australia. Through his father had contact with lots of new immigrants to Australia who were working on various nation-building schemes around the country, and he picked up tuberculosis, and it wasn't diagnosed. Yeah, so sad. It is making a comeback, as is measles, which seems to be having a huge impact in the United States at the moment. Awful thing. Okay. Let's see. What's next on my list of things? I want to promote one of the other streamers that I know to you. So if you will please be patient with me for a moment. There are a bunch of really talented people on Twitch, and some of them I particularly like. This is Tonecaster, and Tonecaster does a great show. So I'm going to put up his little promo video. It's only a minute long, won't take terribly long to go through. So here is the promo video for Tonecaster, a friend of mine who is just a superb musician and really worth catching. He has some serious talent when it comes to playing the guitar, and this is a little piece of his that he was rather proud of that I'm showing off here today. And yes, the man can really play. Very worth your while if you felt like checking him out. Tonecaster is exactly as it sounds, Tonecaster, and very worth giving a follow and checking out if you have the opportunity.
Hello, I have another joke.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's hear it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Euripides.
Euripides who?
Euripides' clothes. You pay for them.
Oh, yeah, go away. Run. Run really fast. Oh dear. Tell you what. Let's have another poem from our list, Puppy and I, requested by Robotham J, written in 1927 by the marvellous A.A. Mill. Here we go. I met a man as I went walking. We got talking, man and I. Where are you going to, man? I said to the man as he went by. Down to the village to get some bread. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met a horse as I went walking. We got talking, horse and I. Where are you going to, horse, today? I said to the horse as he went by. Down to the village to get some hay. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met a woman as I went walking. We got talking, woman and I. Where are you going to, woman, so early? I said to the woman as she went by. Down to the village to get some barley. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met some rabbits as I went walking. We got talking, rabbits and I. Where are you going in your brown fur coats? I said to the rabbits as they went by. Down to the village to get some oats. Will you come with us? No, not I. I met a puppy as I went walking. We got talking, puppy and I. Where are you going this nice fine day? I said to the puppy as he went by. Up to the hills to roll and play. I'll come with you, puppy, said I. And that was Puppy and I by A. Milne for Robotham J, my marvellous mod. I hope you enjoyed that, Robotham J. Oh, we're getting spammed in the chat with all those. I really have to fix that. It just puts way too much stuff in there. Anyway, Robotham J has given me a big smile. Oh, thank you for that, Robotham J. Let's see. That was the conclusion of our third set. I've got a little question for you guys in the chat. How familiar with the poems of Edgar Allan Poe were you before you visited today? Did anything in his poetry surprise you, discomfort you, or move you in any way? I'd be really interested to know if... I'm pretty sure Poe is likely to be highly familiar to the guests I've got here today, but all the same, I'm interested to know what it is about Poe that attracts or repels you. It's possible I already knew quite a lot. Oh, there we go. 5 stars. We've reached our target in the punometer. Well done. Thank you, Jack, for getting us all the way there. Nice to reach the limit in our punometer today. So yeah, interesting. Interested to know your feelings on Poe. In the meantime, we're about to start our final set of requests. So let's take a look at, Fizban DM. The Raven was introduced to our generation by The Simpsons. Quoth the Raven, eat my shorts. You know, I don't think I've seen that episode of The Simpsons. It'll be one of their Treehouse of Horror ones, I'm guessing. But there were quite a few of them, and I don't think I quite remember that one. Epitaph to a Dog by Lord Byron. Let's find that one. It's actually incredible. It's a straight retelling. There we go. Maybe I should track it down and have a bit of a look at some point. George, where are you? George Gordon, Lord Byron, Epitaph to a Dog. Let's bring this one up. And, is it the next one over? Yes, it is. Good. I'm glad I didn't have to go reset that. So, Epitaph to a Dog by George Gordon, Lord Byron. Poe is endlessly fascinating to me because he created 3 genres. Yeah, an amazing writer. And and his writing still holds up so well today. It's both amazing to me and really entertaining. Okay, this. Ooh, let's see. It doesn't seem to be fitting quite on the screen, so we'll give it our best shot and see how this goes. Near this spot are deposited the remains of one who possessed beauty without vanity, strength without insolence, courage without ferocity, and all the virtues of man without his vices. This praise, which would be unmeaning flattery if inscribed over human ashes, is but a just tribute to the memory of Boatswain, a dog, who was born in Newfoundland in May. Okay, we may have some difficulty fitting this. Somehow the size has... I'm going to give it my best shot anyway. This is the poem itself. When some proud son of man returns to earth, unknown to glory but upheld by birth, the sculptor's art exhausts the pomp of woe, and storied urns record who rests below. When all is done, upon the tomb is seen, not what he was, but what he should have been. But the poor dog, in life the firmest friend, the first to welcome, foremost to defend, whose honest heart is still his master's own, who labours, fights, lives, breathes for him alone, who something or other'd fall unnoticed, all his worth. Never mind. I'm so sorry. We're going to be skipping lines to get as much of it in as we can. O man, thou feeble tenant of an hour, debased by slavery or corrupt by power, who knows thee well must quit thee with disgust, degraded mass of animated dust. Thy love is lust, thy friendship all a cheat, thy tongue hypocrisy, thy heart deceit. By nature vile, ennobled but by name, each kindred brute might bid thee blush for shame. Ye who hold perchance this simple urn, pass on, it none honours none you wish to mourn. To mark a friend's remain these stones arise, I never knew but one, and here he lies. So George Gordon, Lord Byron, praising the dog while excoriating mankind. And I will endeavour to fix those slides for next time. My apologies regarding that. This definitely earned a glitch. Never mind. So back we go. That was Epitaph to a Dog.
Hello? Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Yes, X-37?
I think we're about to get a visit from Deep Thought.
As usual, the timing's terrible.
Don't shoot the messenger. I just thought you should know.
Well, let's see if we can get another poem in the meantime. Since there are no poems on the board, I would like us to do. Well, I would like for Jack J. Ward to do "Jenny Kissed Me" by Leigh Hunt. So this one's just for you, Jack J. Ward. Leigh Hunt, "Jenny Kissed Me." Written in 1939. Jenny kissed me when we met, jumping from the chair she sat in. Time, you thief, who love to get sweets into your list, put that in. Say I'm weary, say I'm sad, say that health and wealth have missed me, say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed me. And that was Jenny Kissed Me for Jack J. Ward. Specially added last week just for him. Let's see. We've got time for one more poem.
Hello, mere mortal. It is I, Deep Thought, the greatest intellect in the universe.
I really do think you protest too much, Deep Thought.
Rude.
What do you want?
What do you think I want? A poem, of course.
What poem?
A poem to help me relive the joy of watching you get electrocuted last week.
You watched that?
Of course, it filled me with quiet joy.
Just name the poem.
Recite for me Electrocution by Lola Ridge.
How did you even know that I added that poem this week? Never mind, don't answer that. Let's get your poem happening. Lola Ridge, Electrocution. Electrocution by Lola Ridge. He shudders, feeling on the shaven spot the probing wind that stabs him to a thought of storm-drenched fields in a white foam of light and roads of his hill town that leap to sight like threads of tortured silver, while the guards, monstrous deaf dolls that move as on a string, in wonted haste to finish with this. Oh dear. I'm going to have to skip some lines because I can't make them out. They heard the shriek that tore out of its sheath, but as a feeble moan, yet dared not breathe, who stared there at him arching like a tree when the winds wrench it and the earth holds tight, whose soul expanding in white agony had fused in flaming circuit with the night. And that was Electrocution, a poem about capital punishment and the execution of a criminal. Well, I hope that you liked that deep thought. Very typical of you to want something like that. And now that I've done your poem, perhaps you'd answer a question for me.
Assuredly, my colossal intellect has already divined what you wish to know. Yes, the human brain is cannibalistic. Phagocytosis is the mechanism by which the brain prunes and maintains itself by feeding smaller cells to larger cells.
That wasn't what I was going to ask.
It wasn't? Are you sure?
Quite sure.
Oh well, what do you want to know?
You seem to know who the ancient aliens that built the ruins we visited last week were.
As you wish. 30,000 years ago, nearly all life in the galaxy was extinguished. The ruins you explored belong to the last holdouts against that extinction event.
You knew this? And you didn't tell anyone?
Should I have? No one would believe it.
But...
It's time I left. Goodbye.
That's right, run away. Well, I got more out of him than usual. For those who are relatively new to the show, maybe a bit of a catch-up would be advisable at this point. So, for those who came in late, I'm your host, the deaf writer and captain of the starship Pentameter. Just before the Earth was destroyed in the year 20,324, I was kidnapped by an intergalactic intelligence named Deep Thought, who mistook me for Dorothy Parker. Go figure. Deep Thought gave me my ship and told me to seek my destiny, whatever that might mean. I am now the last human being alive in the galaxy, and accompanied by my robotic first mate X-37, I've made it my mission to keep human culture alive by beaming poetry into the cosmos once a week. Pressed ganged into the service of the Krell Emperor, we were sent to investigate the sudden silence of some remote Krell outposts on pain of being skinned and boiled in vinegar. The first outpost we visited, Outpost 21372, appeared to have vanished without a trace. We investigated and found the remains of a mine. In one of its chambers, the miners had broken through to some ancient alien ruins. Investigating further, we found an active Raceland beacon that was transmitting an unknown signal through space and was attended by strange tentacled robots. The beacon zapped me with energy, filling my head with knowledge of a galactic enemy returning after 30,000 years to wipe out the advanced life forms in the universe. I must get word to the Krell Emperor of this development and am currently heading on my way to that appointment. Well, we've got time for one last poem before we reach the coordinates that we were supposed to meet the envoy in. A Raceland beacon like from Dragonlance. Somebody got the reference. Not a surprise given the name Fizban DM. Yes, so let's do our last poem for the day. Very last poem. The A Noiseless Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. I'll jump forward. And then we should be just about arriving at our rendezvous point. ST. Thomas Gray. Walt Whitman. A Noiseless Patient Spider for Fizban DM. A Noiseless Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. A noiseless patient spider, I marked where on a little promontory it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding. It launched forth filament, filament, filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you will need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere, O my soul. Some free verse by Walt Whitman. For Fizban DM, a noiseless, patient spider. And let's head back into the communications suite.
Captain, we're coming up on the rendezvous point. I can't believe I've been sent out here to meet with that useless human. I've got far more important things to do than... Hey, what's that? Ah!
We're here. There appears to be a surprising amount of space junk floating outside the ship. I guess we just have to wait and see who shows up.
And in the meantime...
Well, in the meantime, having pressed way too many buttons, I'm going to run the credits. Folks, the original poems on this site were written by the deaf writer and are copyright and can't be used without permission. All other poetry is in the public domain. The artwork on the site is licensed via Envato, GameDeveloperStudio.com, or Microsoft. Poem illustrations are original works created by the deaf writer and subject to copyright. All sounds are licensed from Envato. The recording of Gymnopody is provided royalty-free from museopen.org. Go.animations were completed by Jack Robotham. Poetry Quest game was also by Jack Robotham. This production is copyright 2025. No Krell were harmed during the production of this stream. And thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. Named after you, laugh out loud. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Jack, for joining us. Ozjohn D, who's off on his walk. Fizzban DM, who noticed my little Easter egg that I threw in there just for you, Fizzban. And it's been great to have you with me, and it's been great to be able to read these poems today. I guess we'll have to try and make a... If the Krell envoy doesn't show up, I guess we'll have to try and make contact with him, with the Emperor during the week. We also have another destination that we're supposed to be investigating, so I guess we'll need to wait for instructions there too. Anyway, marvellous to be with you all this week. I look forward to seeing you perhaps next week when our story continues.